Morning everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our Ironfish Morning Show. I'm Karina Contra-Georges, and joining me today to share and compare their experiences during COVID-19 are property manager Anna Nguyen,
Good morning.
Leasing manager David Melville, and team leader Vi Luc. Welcome guys, hope you're all well. So from what I understand, New South Wales and Queensland are gradually easing their restrictions and I guess are well on their way to some semblance of normality in the real estate industry. Victoria, unfortunately, have been summoned back to the naughty corner and will be returning to stage 3 stay-at-home restrictions, which is a decision made in response to our recent spike in COVID-19 cases. So obviously that's going to impact how our Victorian real estate sector will operate. But before we go into that, I just want to touch on your experiences during such an uncertain and trying time. What would you say the biggest challenges you faced have been during the pandemic? And how would you say you've overcome those challenges?
I guess with the recent announcement of our Premier, Dan Andrew, saying that the further lockdown is going to be commencing from tonight, I think it's going to be creating a new challenge for our team in Victoria. So as soon as this morning, I heard feedback from our team that, it looks like the second wave of rent reduction request has been coming through to us because with the further lockdown, it's limiting people to go out and do their work and earn some income. During this coronavirus pandemic, I seen that a lot of things for our property managers to put in addition to their daily workload. Rent reduction requests we've been receiving in the past few months up to 500 or more rent requests. And then on top of that, there's a number of negotiation, a lot of time that our property managers been put into, negotiate with the owners, with the tenants to come to a mutual agreement. And time to time, we come across cases that owner and tenants can't meet in the middle and come up with a mutual agreement. And unfortunately, we have to escalate the matter further to Consumer Affairs Victoria, and officer from Consumer Affairs Victoria needs to be involved trying to settle the deal for us. And if there's further dispute and we can't settle it, then the matter is going to be escalated further to dispute resolutions officer or refer the cases to VCAT. So it's a lengthy process for our property manager to follow through. It could be very frustrating for our tenants and owners as well. While tenants seeking for help and hoping that we can help them, and then in the meantime, the owner is trying to help the tenant to reduce some rent. But obviously, this pandemic affecting not only the tenants but also the owners as well. Some of them might also have their hours reduced, or they've been stood down, they lost their job, and therefore their income's been reduced. So there's only a certain amount of reductions that our owners can offer. So it's creating a lot of workload. But our property managers are here to support, to help our owners, to help our tenants to come up to an agreement and work out at the end.
Yeah. And David, what would you say your biggest challenges have been?
Well, the challenges started obviously when the restrictions were put into place. We noticed that, the market drastically reduced in numbers who are inspecting properties. And we've had lots of different challenges in relation to inspections, routine inspections, obviously people asking for rent reductions, etc. But we have actually seen quite a positive sign in Queensland. We've had probably less than 10% of our whole portfolio affected by COVID-19, which is basically telling us where properties are still affordable. Even with the government assistance, it's still affordable property. So we're not seeing so many homes in distress. Unfortunately, from our colleagues in Melbourne and Sydney, we're probably not having to deal with as much as you guys are at the moment. So, we're actually finding it quite positive in Queensland, in relation to that. But the challenges particularly have been around inspections and routine inspections, obviously not being able to conduct them. We'd like to introduce things like slots, virtual tours, etc., which have helped. But of course, as we all know in property management, it is a numbers game, getting as many people through that property door as possible. So that has affected, obviously, the results moving forward for our clients, but we still have had some very positive outcomes.
Yeah.
For Sydney, the challenges are dealing with a lot of rental reductions. For our portfolio, surprisingly, yes, we have experienced about, I'd say, 10 to 15% of rental reductions. It's not that astronomical, but still, it is a big jump in terms of the reduction. So 50%, the owners are offering 50%. Other additional challenges are routine inspection. We don't have any tenants that are on board on virtual at all. So at this stage, things are easing. We are conducting routine inspection as per normal now. It's just that tenants are very cautious of, taking the shoes off, making sure that your hands are sanitized, etc., wearing masks when we conduct the routine. So with this event, it is a big game changer to future, routine inspections. So I guess everyone is still just very cautious. But at the same time, we are still trying to implement routine inspection. We are trying to put that in place, trying to get the tenants on board. That's still a challenge at the moment, but we are slowly getting there. But other than that, the major challenges are just, I'd say, the routine inspections and also the vacancy. We find that a lot of apartments are it's a lengthy leasing process compared to our houses. The houses in Sydney are getting rented out at a quicker rate rather than apartments. We have majority of the affected areas are the Sydney CBD, where they rely, apartments where they rely on tourism and where they rely on students. So we have high vacancy, especially in the Sydney CBD. We have apartments vacant for more than 2 months, unfortunately. Wow. And I guess the challenge for us, we have to, we don't like to deliver the news, but the owner has to apply a drastic drop in order to rent out the premises. So that's a challenge. But we slowly, with this positive outcome to this is, even though we're going through a pandemic, we still come together in unity. That we just build a stronger relationship with the tenant and the landlord. So that's the positive outcome, that we can all work together and overcome this pandemic, because everyone's worried. People are losing their jobs or people are on JobKeeper at the same time. And some owners, they've lost their jobs as well, and they have to just rely on this rental income. But in order to have that tenant or to just ensure that the property is leased, they have to unfortunately be at loss with the rental reduction. But other than that, there are other owners or other tenants where they haven't been affected and rent is as per normal. So other than that, Sydney is right now, we are slowly getting back to normal. Like I said, there's people coming to inspections, and hopefully if we are going to go through a second wave, I think we are ready for that. So with this experience,
it's almost a case of been there, done that. So if anything was to worsen, touch wood, you would know, I guess, how to approach it in the best way possible.
Correct.
Yeah. And I guess touching on that, Sandra, as well, property management has always remained quite agile in the last few years anyway. Obviously, all our systems now are cloud-based, so it has enabled us to transition, through to working from home quite easily. It's not been much of a challenge for property management in our opinion. So that's been a positive outcome as well. And actually people have quite enjoyed working from home, I believe. I've not been one of them, but most have. So it's been pretty good around Queensland, definitely, in terms of that. That's been a challenge, but it's been overcome very easily.
Yeah, definitely. That's great to hear. So would you say any innovations that you have implemented during this pandemic would be used, moving forward?
Absolutely, Sandra. We'll still conduct the virtual inspections, and we're still doing video walkthroughs. We find them quite powerful, particularly when the borders open up. I'm sure a lot of interstate migration will happen again, and of course those video walkthroughs will be very important. Obviously allowing those prospective tenants to view the property prior to viewing it in person. So certainly that we'll still keep doing. We've also had some fun with the tenant-assisted routine inspections. So there may be odd occasions where we can use that if the property manager's unwell, etc. So that's something that we plan to possibly implement moving forward as well. Not all the time, of course, because it's always best to see it with your own two eyes, but on the odd occasion, that might be something that we can utilise.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the way we are going here in Victoria as well. Being locked down further for another 6 weeks. We previously using the same virtual inspection as well, because due to the restriction, we can only make private appointment for one-on-one inspections. So our office has a dedicated team member to go to take the videos, walk through, and then we upload on every single leasing property that we have, so that tenant, sometimes they can be skeptical as well, and they don't want to physically inspecting the property. They can view online and apply for it. I think real estate, they had some innovations as well in terms of letting the tenants apply for the property, and admitted that they review the virtual inspection and they accept the condition of the property, and it could be taken legal documents that the tenant accepted the condition of the property. We also use the tenant assisted inspections tool as well, which was very helpful. We wanted to get the idea of how the properties look like for our owners, knowing that they would be, wondering from the back of their head, saying that, now we are in lockdown. I wonder how my properties look like, and with the pandemic, tenants behind rent, I don't know if they're keeping my property in good condition. So with this tool, it's very helpful. Our office especially run promotions. Karina has been working very hard on this promotion, trying to encourage our tenants to, assist with tenant assisted inspections, and we receive a high number of tenants, just really keen into getting into the promotion, and ask us how to be, eligible to participate for this. They're sending photos to us, sending reports to us, and some of them we come across look like a display home. So how they look after the property, how they keep it clean, and obviously when we send these reports to the owners, they can't be happier. They're really, really happy with what we've done for them, and how we encourage the tenant to look after the property, to take this photo and send to us. So at least with physical inspection being limited, we still be able to have like a sneak peek of the property, how it looks like. On top of that, because our office is working from home, we try to limit the visit into the office as much as we can. So we also using CQ sign to do the lease as well. So we're sending that to the tenants electronically and get them to sign the lease and send back to us. So we try to minimize contact with clients, and also this for our safety and for the client safety as well. So this tool, I think, is definitely the way to go moving forward, even after the pandemic. It's so much easier for us. It's making our job easier.
100%. How about you, Anna?
I think the contact list that had made our job easier. That's what I'm saying. The electronic signing of the lease agreement. So that's good. We've reached out to all of our tenants for the lease renewal. That's a good innovative, procedure with electronic signing. Other than that, I believe that with this pandemic going on, we did strengthen our negotiation skills in terms of the rental. So that's good, and we'll implement that further. Other than that, I guess I just feel like Sydney is just bounced back. So I mean, it's
good. That's good.
It's bounced back. I mean, there's still vacancies. Don't get me wrong. There's still vacancies, but it's just a big change in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We've got people showing up, but the only challenge is just the rental decreases. So we still have people come to the inspection, but they're asking for always negotiated rent. So we have to always, use their skills, and also just compare the market, Sydney market to different suburbs and such. So it's just, I think it's slowly getting back to normal. So for our studies, but yes, we will from the COVID-19, of course, with the lockdown and the procedures, legal procedures and such, and I mean, we will definitely continue. We still continue to go by the guidelines, and also just out of the safety of the tenants, well-being of the workers as well. Us being property managers, we're exposed to a lot of people. We still implement the hygienic way, and also the effective ways of contactless guidelines and such, and sending over the electronic pieces. But other than that, we don't have that much of a problem as we did 2 months ago, or 4 weeks ago, I'd say. Sorry. But yeah, I think for Sydney so far, so it's been fine. So
that's great to hear. Well, thanks again to all of you. Really appreciate you joining me today. To all our viewers, if you're loving our videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and share. Also, if you have any topics you'd love us to touch on, feel free to let us know. Until next time, please stay safe and look after yourselves. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you, Karina.
Thank you.
Thank you.